What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Mondays on Main. We are here today with a special guest who we will introduce uno momento. I don't speak Spanish. I'm your co-host, John David, and this is
Stephanie Susie.
And we're going to just dive right into this thing. And I want the guest to introduce herself.
Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Emily Bergman. I am the children's librarian at Harrisburg District Library and a yoga teacher here at the Essentially Fit for Life studio.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yoga.
Kind of famous. You're a little famous.
She's a little known.
Like with the children of the town.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like when teachers go into Walmart and they get seen. Mm-hmm. It's like being a celebrity.
I was in Walmart the other day and this little girl was like, Miss Emily. And I was like, hi. And the mom turned around. She goes, oh, I knew I recognized that voice.
Yeah, now since we've been doing all the Arts Go stuff and all the art classes and stuff, like there's one kid, you would know her. She, every time I see her, she's like, you're my art teacher. And I'm like, well, it's a little awkward because I'm not really an art teacher. But,
thanks for honking.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of like being a local
It's
celebrity.
always a little awkward, though, especially if the parents don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I just visit their classroom. I work at the library. I read to them. I promise.
I'm not a psycho.
Yeah. I'm not just breaking in.
Okay, let's talk about yoga first. Let's talk about, I feel like we could easily segue into talking about
We could probably talk about books all day. In the library.
For real.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got a doozy question for you later.
Yeah, we've got.
Boy.
I know. See, that's why we wanted to talk about the yoga first, because we've really got library conversations.
Okay. Ooh. Rubs hands in anticipation.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners. I'm Sean David, co-founder of Main Street Media. Stephanie and I created Mondays on Main to connect with local creatives, artists, and small business owners in the Southern Illinois area to talk about their work and experiences. We are a company focused on creating professional marketing content for small businesses and brands. We work together crafting content to fit your message, all while delivering quality imagery through photo and video to help elevate your brand and attract more customers. Now, I could go on and on about the statistics of using quality photos and video and how they improve overall conversion rates and blah, 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 but I won't. I mean, I should, because they're super impressive, but I digress. So, if you would like to learn more about our services or team up to create a strategy for your brand, shoot us an email at mainstreetmediaco@gmail.com. Again, that's mainstreetmediaco@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so just tell us a little bit about your background, because we want to focus on like small businesses in Southern Illinois and stuff like that. So you are a small business in Southern Illinois. So tell us a little bit about how you got into yoga. Give us that gig.
It is hard to think of myself as a small business.
I know.
And then
it's the same. I have the same feelings.
So all right. Well,
Would you rather be thought as a medium or a large business?
even just as a business in general.
Yeah.
Like what do I do that qualifies?
Yeah.
Because it's not my entire life. Some days I wish it was, but it also helps, support my life. So, well, I have been practicing yoga for, what is this year, 2024? Over 10 years, probably 12, 13, 14 years. I don't know the exact date. I can remember specifically back when I was in college getting my bachelor's degree and living away from home in a house with 4 other girls, and I would roll out my yoga mat in my bedroom and practice at nighttime. So
didn't you say your mom was doing it? That's how you
like when we had an apartment here in Harrisburg, she had a VHS tape of yoga, which I just love because I can see the cover and the little paper sleeve, the way it would slip over and
Like PBS morning type yoga stuff.
Yep. Real slow and soothing.
With the ladies with like did they have like the tight?
Like a full body unitard?
Yes.
Yep.
The scrunchy, puffy
yes.
socks. What were those called?
Full confession here. Last night I was Googling for a full body unitard to practice yoga in. So we have come full circle here.
We really have come full circle though.
Because it just looks so much easier to practice like that.
Oh gosh. It makes
versus like
having
to pull the pants up
and
then pull the sweatshirt down. Where's the t-shirt at? So...
see, a whole body sleep. No, ma'am. No, thank you.
I don't think it would work for me either. I think I'd get it on and
things would be like.
I would be a fat Teletubby. Which they kind of are fat.
The valleys and the hills.
Yes, the crevasses.
Yeah.
The mounds upon mounds.
Yes. So, it would not be pleasant.
Come full circle that way, but I remember
That would be funny though. Can you imagine? If we all three did yoga. It's like a funny yoga.
We've talked about getting Santa.
Yeah.
I don't think he would ever put on a red onesie though. I don't think we would ever get him in that. That would be...
Love you, Santa.
That would be comical. We would be TikTok gold. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, okay, keep going.
Everyone kick your leg out to the right. Swing it forward. Press it back. I guess that feels more Pilates-like. So, yeah, I remember my mom having a VHS of yoga, and eventually I just grew into it. I can't ever remember a time where I've not had a yoga mat.
Yeah. Does your mom still do yoga?
No. But she is probably part of the reason why I do it. Yeah. And just to keep my body mobile and healthy and functional and feel good all of the time really helps, inspire me forward. So it wasn't until about, honestly, 2020. January of 2020, I took my first yoga training at a gym in Evansville through a company called Yoga Fit. And it was a 2-day training, like an intensive 8 to 12 hour all day, sitting on a gym floor, practicing all the poses, flowing, teaching. And then that next week, I started at the park office here in Harrisburg. A once weekly class, and then COVID hit. We had to stop all in-person yoga classes.
Did you do anything online?
I did.
Yeah.
So with my work at the library, I also recorded 2 classes, pretty gentle and slow classes at the time, and uploaded them to our Facebook. And I think we may have put them on our YouTube page, if we still have one. So, yeah. And then since then, I've taken more trainings, more classes, and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So
your classes are pretty full, aren't they?
Well, right now we're in a rut, and which is
that typical for this time of year?
Which is hard for me to say because. So I'm doing my weekly classes right now that I'm teaching, and those are what are in a rut. But I have a current beginner series going on, and I sold that out.
Did you?
With 8 people.
Oh, wow.
And that's what's been carrying me this month. But we are about to have our 6th and final class this weekend. So I am hoping that I can help transition those people into coming to my regular weekly classes.
Will.
So
what was it? I was seeing something that people who made resolutions for New Year's at January 31st is the day that they're falling off of their resolutions.
Well, actually, there is one of the other things that I geek out about is self-help and like motivation. And I found this information through Mel Robbins, who's a motivational speaker, but she has this information from Strava, which is a running website, I think, which has calculated through years of data that usually by the second Friday in January is Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day?
Mm-hmm. They have nicknamed it Quitter's Day.
I love it.
So it's like the second Friday in January, but then also I think
it makes me want to have a pizza party. Come celebrate
Quitter's Day. Yeah. Well, I kind of made a resolution in January because one of my favorite online yoga teachers offers a brand new calendar every January. It's Yoga with Adrian. And so my resolution was to do a personal practice every single day. And out of the 30 days of classes she had, or 31 days, pardon, I only missed 5 days. So that felt pretty good to me.
Yeah. That is good.
But it ran me pretty ragged, though.
Yeah.
That
on top of everything else you already do. Yeah.
This morning was the first time I got back on my mat for my own personal practice since last Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Just because I'm exhausted from it.
Sometimes you just got to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
So about that, does that affect your personal yoga enjoyment or practicing? Like, how does that work? Because it's like, I make videos, you do photo. It's hard to go do it for fun or just do it for passion.
Yeah.
Or,
once you start taking on as a...
Hi. Sorry, you probably can't hear, but people are literally driving by and honking.
Honk.
So.
Yeah.
They're so popular.
I don't know that they're honking here, though. I feel like they honk across the street. I don't know why.
Probably.
No,
drugs,
it's us.
maybe. I don't
it's
know.
Definitely.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so we had talked about with Caitlin, and I think it should be a common theme because it's a thing. But like, when you start to do something for your job, how do you continue to enjoy it yourself? Because you're getting, it's your job now. So how do you balance that?
Or is that a struggle with you in yoga?
It's not too much of a struggle until I get into the personal practice, because then in the personal practice, like I follow other videos.
Yeah.
Rarely, occasionally, I'll just throw on music and practice on my own.
Yeah.
But it's hard to turn my brain off because
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, I really want to write this down.
Yeah.
Let me get out my pen and paper, press pause on this video, and write down what she said. Ooh, I really like this flow.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's what we're allowed to do.
So you're still kind of working?
Yeah. So it's really hard to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
But I try my hardest, and then sometimes I'll just sit back afterwards and roll through the video and be like, what did I like? What did I dislike? How did this feel?
I can relate to that because we'll be watching a show, and my wife, Brooke, sometimes will just be like, you're impossible to watch a show with. Like, I don't care if there's Fibonacci sequence in that or how they lit it or, and I'm like, no, I need to understand this. Hang on.
That's how it feels some days. And I even do it down to a meditation practice. Just every part of it comes in. It's hard to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
But then that leads into too, like right now, I would love to just go home and write out more sequences or practice or study or read my books. But then after this, for the rest of the day, I go spend the day at the library. So it's hard to turn my brain off from yoga to go to my full-time job. So
you don't have like a notebook laying around at the library that you go and...
Oh, my yoga notebook comes with me everywhere. I have so many just like regular notes on my iPhone. I write stuff on my iPad. I mean, I'll just like grab out my phone and be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And
then you go home to read it later and you're like, what
am
I talking about?
I thought I had a really great plan here to say it this way and it was going to make sense. And then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And right now, too, that's especially coming out because I am trying to up my marketing for yoga, too.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you a major high five because you have been rocking and rolling.
It's
with
so
your
hard
social
to
media.
think of what to say.
Yeah, agreed. I understand.
For both of you, too, that this has become your life. You have immersed yourself in it, and you're like, how do I tell people what they don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what, I started out with.
Yeah.
Or how to tell them stuff they've heard.
1,000
And it's
times.
just something they need to know again, but it's like, how do I make it more engaging or more alluring? Or
How do you speak to that person?
Yeah.
Oh, the job of that.
Yeah. Social media.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Because I was thinking this morning how I think yoga's been in Harrisburg for 10, 15, 20 years. And there are still people that don't know it exists.
Yeah. Yeah. It is surprising whenever you learn like something that is in pop culture, various different things. I can't even think of anything yoga. And then you go talk to people who are, they're not up on pop culture and all that stuff. And they're like, what? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of how I feel with a lot of these up and coming TikTok themes.
Yeah.
I don't get on TikTok much. I don't have the time.
Ugh.
I roll through my yoga feed and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me save that. And that and that and that. So that's an endless pile of saves and notes and use this later too.
Yeah. Yeah. My Instagram reels or my saves and it's a pretty hefty. And then I'll go and I'll scroll through it every now and then. I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Oh yeah, I meant to do that. And
I've almost thought like I need to, every time I save something, make a list of that save. And then I'm like,
oh yeah, but then
am I
what?
gonna go look at that again? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's like a sticky note of a sticky note to remind yourself that you made the sticky note
The original
trail.
sticky note.
I don't know. I find valuable stuff on there. Like I find a lot of recipes and I love TikTok for recipes, but I also there's
the food side of TikTok.
Yeah, the foods.
That's where I spent one Sunday like 5 hours on the sourdough side of TikTok.
Yeah,
that was my hyperfixation for the afternoon. I made my own sourdough starter. Have not touched it in 4 days.
Oh, you need to talk to my wife. She's all about that sourdough.
I really wanted it to work, and I was following the perfect instructions.
Sourdough is having a whole moment.
You gotta feed it. You gotta clean the hooch. You gotta let it breathe. It sat too long. Now it needs a little nap time.
You gotta use a wooden spoon and not a metal spoon, but no one really knows why. My metal spoons are better. I don't know. It's just...
I'm not up on the sourdough.
Well, the wood
moment.
actually helps to aerate the sourdougness.
I would fully believe that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm being for real.
Oh, I did not know that part.
I'm just kidding.
Did not. Oh.
It sounds believable.
Yeah.
I would have no clue what you're talking about because I'm not up on the sourdough moment.
So.
Yeah.
That's why I try to stay off TikTok, though, because I want my focus to land more on yoga and books and then add in, like, plants when I can. So those are like...
Ooh, side note, we need to discuss if we're going to have another plant...
Swap.
Totally
do it here, too.
Ooh, I want to get in on that one.
You want to get in on that, too? Okay. I did not add plants to the itinerary today.
Is that an ArtsCo thing?
Doesn't have to be. It was a library thing. It could be an arts.
It could be an anywhere thing, truly.
It could be yeah.
Do you guys have one scheduled?
No, but we won't schedule again until...
We usually typically do it in like May.
Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring, and then
so
we did one in the fall.
When, let's see, we probably have all our stuff scheduled through March, and then we come together either March or April to plan for the whole summer.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anyway, okay, back on track.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about marketing of your small business, and Sean and I did some photo and video for you for your business, and you have been rocking and rolling with your social media here lately. So let's talk about how you've been using it, how it's been for you, how you've been scheduling things out. Just tell us your mindset with working on your social media.
There's not been any scheduling out. It is the second before it's posted.
Yep.
No, not usually. Or most of the time, yes. Every once in a while, I get to where I have something scheduled the night before.
Yeah.
But I love using the photos because it's something ready-made, something right there.
Yeah.
And for me, they showcase me. They're easy to see, and they are not photos that are too unachievable.
Yeah.
Because that's a big discussion in the yoga world, is why everything that comes up in a Google search is people practicing in like handstands and figure eight and scorpion and flying crow and
cool
king pigeon stuff. And that's not what is practiced in my classes. Yeah.
They're showing
so
off.
I don't want to put something like that out there that is going to be off-putting to someone that has tried it. And
especially because the yoga community here is not that big. So
I would love to grow it to be that big. I think it is very achievable to be that big, but there's also misconceptions about the practice of yoga as a whole that are part of what my strategy needs to be to overcome for the area.
Yeah.
But it's hard to figure out what to say because there is so much to say, and I almost need like a marketing plan of what I want to talk about, how I want to say it, and when I want to say it, because people look for information during the week, but then not on Fridays because everyone's relaxed for the weekend. So the photos and videos have been great. I was thinking this morning how I need to get on to the videos and almost make myself like a time-stamped list of what's in what video so that it makes it easier to use too, because I'll go and I'll just start clicking on them, looking for something, and I'm never actually sure what I'm looking for, so then I get frustrated and I just quit. So that's what happens a lot, and with those notes that I take that I don't know what to do with. So
how could we help you make it better?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Very recently started.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I have started, but very slowly, and they're all unlisted right now because for my beginner's course, there inevitably are people that cannot make it due to a last minute thing, a pre-scheduled thing. So every Saturday after the in-person class, I then stick around the studio and record it, and that's been a huge lesson in like teaching myself what to do, because the view that I use is great.
The view, what do you mean?
Like in the studio where I set myself up, because I want it to be pretty plain,
right?
Nothing
clean.
Distracting, clean. But my sound is just not great, so I don't know how to fix that.
Like while you're talking?
Yeah, because it echoes in the room really bad. And
girl, I got you.
One of the things that there's an online yoga teacher that I follow, and she really recommends this thing called a Rode Go. But that's like just a little bit pricey for me right now. So I'm kind of just working with what I have.
There's other ones that are
like something I just need to clip
just as good and not in that price range.
We got you. We'll get you.
Yeah.
We'll get you.
I should have thought to reach out to you and figure it out. And I mean, I use my iPhone. I don't remember which number it is, but the video comes out fine.
Yeah,
like
you're
the
using
view.
your phone.
Yeah. And then just the other day, I was like, I'm going to create a title card to put on my video so they all look the same. And it's fun, but there's just a lot of steps and a lot of work to it.
Yeah. Being your own marketing person is tough. It's a whole job in of itself.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this day and age, that's what it is. When you're running a small business, you are your own.
There's the joke that's
person.
like, all I wanted to do was teach yoga, but now I have to be a tech person, be a marketer, be a planner, be the 14 things all in one that you're supposed to do. And I want to learn how to talk to people, to sell to people. What do they need to see? What do they need to hear? And then I want to niche down in my yoga classes and talk to my dream students, which I really can't. I can't be a dream teacher to everybody.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
Well, I had that conversation with Caitlin last time about niching down, and in this rural area, it's real hard to do that kind of stuff because there's just not enough people for that to only work with the people that are like your dream clients. It's not, and not like niche down and only do the one, like I compared it to weddings, and some big photographers are like, you've got to niche down and only do weddings or only do newborns. It's like, we can't do that here. That's not realistic here. So
but at the same time,
same across a lot of different
At the same time,
businesses.
for me, I know that my niche right now in this season of life is not, I mean, there's always, there's chair yoga. That's not my niche right now. There's and post and, prenatal yoga. That's not my niche right now in life. And so I think I am leaning towards the people that just want to do yoga.
Yeah.
But then within that, you have to watch out for specific injuries and ways that people can and can't move. So
yeah, it's a lot.
It is. And I know you know that, you know. So.
Okay, so let's talk about the library.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here for that.
We all love talking about the library because our library is amazing.
Thank you.
Library is really cool.
Yeah. It really is. Our library is the best. I've had this conversation with many people over the last couple of years, and it's our library is like, you can go to bigger cities and their libraries don't do half of what our library does.
That's my favorite thing to hear.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of snowbirds up here.
Yeah.
So they will come back and they'll say, we went to the library in our community in Florida and it just was not as welcoming. It was not as great. They didn't make much of an effort to get to know us or what we want to read. So
yeah.
That feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, and personally, when I go in, which I mean, I'm not there every week or anything, but when I do go in, you can almost tell like everyone wants to be there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sure it's a job, but like they love books and
they love their
community
job,
and like helping, and they're very like you guys are all I don't know, it's just a cool vibe.
Yeah.
That
nobody's the crusty old librarian lady.
No.
There's
Yeah,
nobody
like
like that there.
Like growing up, well, especially the last few decades, I mean, think a library as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's boring, smells weird. And there's everyone's
dry, musty book.
Yeah.
Not that way. At least here.
We have grown past that for sure.
'Cause you guys do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's not too many days that go by when there's not
Something.
us doing something, or even the public is allowed to use the rooms down there. Even if we didn't have a scheduled program, there's people that come in and tutor, groups that come in for open interviews, or that use it for consultations, or just one-on-one people using our meeting rooms. And where else in town is that going to take place?
Yeah. I mean, that is a good point. There really is nowhere else in town that people can do stuff like that there and be, it's good parking, quiet, heated air, all of that. There's not any really place. So
No.
the library's popping.
It's where it's at.
It's where it's at.
Yeah. It's one of the few places that you can really kind of go and exist and not get pressured to do by whatever.
Yep.
So
if you need help, they will help you. But if you want to be left alone, you can be left alone.
Which
you can
is,
just
like increasingly strange in our culture and society today, because we all have phones and laptops and even everything, you're getting sold something all day.
Yep.
I just want to sell you a love of reading. And then people come in just to use the Wi-Fi still. You can come in and just read a book. You don't have to check it out. You can just leave it there on the shelf and read it and come back for it the next day. We have magazines and newspapers and activities and things that you can take home and do, or things that you can do there at the library. And it's crazy to me sometimes to think about how so much of our library use now has become providing programs to people, and seeing the connection that is made in those programs, that people look forward to coming back every month or trying it out. And so this week is my busy week at the library. yesterday I went and visited all of the kindergarten classes. So I read to all 8 classes. That's fun. And then today I have a kids doodle journal program.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's like, journaling and doodling and bullet journal type of things for kids. And then I do story time, preschool story time tonight. Tomorrow I go and read to all of the 3rd grade classes.
Oh, wow.
And it's so fun to see how much they still love being read to.
Yeah.
And then Thursday.
Listen, I'm an audiobook. I like to be
That's the thing is
No, I want to talk about Hoopla in a minute.
Yeah. That's the thing is we, at a certain point, you think about it and you're like, wow, my parents stopped reading aloud to me. But then we love audiobooks. So.
Yeah. I don't think it ever goes away.
No.
Well, sorry, bringing it back to Santa again, but when I am with him in a situation where he is reading the night before Christmas to kids, I'm
so
like
soothing. Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm listening to him read that book, even though I've heard it 100 times. I'm in it.
Yep. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have people that tell me too that the way I use my voice and articulate and pause and go up and down is great for reading aloud. And then it has transitioned so nicely into my yoga classes.
Well, that's what I was just thinking is you've got the soothing yoga
I had someone
voice
tell me that she tries yoga classes online, but sometimes the sound of their voices does not allow her to drop in as well as when she's in person with me. Which makes me feel
I understand. Yeah, I understand that though. I understand that.
But I'll go read to 3rd grade tomorrow, and then on Thursday I will have a preschool story time in the morning. Then we have an after-school group called Project Next Generation, which is funded through the state of Illinois, and they have given us grant money to work with middle and high school students with different technologies. And then Friday morning I have a baby time. And that's just a short story time, songs, books, rhymes with your 2 and under year olds. And then Friday afternoon, I have started a big kid story time for those kids that have aged out of preschool story time, because I have found those kindergartners, 1st, 2nd, 3rd graders, they still love being read to and interacting and doing projects and activities. And that has brought so much joy to my life. And my crowd is so dedicated in coming back and interacting and having fun. You
have groupies for sure.
Yeah. And these people they are so hands-on and helpful. Everyone that comes, it's just, it's joy. I look forward to it, even though this week will be long and exhausting and I will run until I don't know what to do anymore.
But it'll be worth it in the end.
Yes. Yeah. Rewarding.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked that you guys don't have an adult reading.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of joking, but not.
Because
we all listen to audiobooks and podcasts and... So yeah. I know we just met and all, but, can I ask for a favor? It's nothing crazy, just a small ask. If you're enjoying the podcast, would you make sure to follow and leave us a rating? Oh, thanks so much. And also, could you maybe tell someone, anyone really, coworker, mail person, some rando at a stoplight, just roll that window on down and do that awkward, roll your window down because I need to tell you something motion. Like I said, nothing crazy, just a small ask. Anyway, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, so now let's just get back to the episode.
I feel like that's something that I've seen as a program before.
Like an audiobook club or something like that?
Yeah. Or just they used to do Shakespeare reading.
Yeah.
But surely there's another library out there that has like an adult read aloud or something.
I don't know. We need to look into that.
Well, take the right voice though.
Yeah.
And you're a perfect person for that.
Thank you. So I get a lot of my ideas from other libraries. We love seeing groups online and different library pages. And
okay, bringing it back to TikTok again, I do follow some libraries on TikTok, and they are hilarious. I love some of their posts so much.
Give us a sample. What are you talking about?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there was. I think I sent it to you.
Well, the one that I have on my head right now is where the librarians, you all know that like iconic video game stance where they're standing there, that one. So it's like flashing through the different librarians. Who will you choose? Will you
your
choose
player.
the adult librarian? Will you choose the children's librarian, the teen librarian? That one is one that I saw recently. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. It just makes me laugh.
So
can we talk about, and this is going to kind of transition into a question I had for her, but before I get there, so you guys have an app called Hoopla,
which more people need to know about.
Yeah,
like way more
because
people
it is
need to know.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I will talk about Hoopla, but I'm also going to promote this other one that we have called Cloud. And I don't think as many people know about Cloud.
Okay,
Tell me.
But tell me. I need to know.
So there's differences between the two. So we'll start with Cloud. Cloud Library is also a free app for you to download. It's got audiobooks and ebooks. Okay. There is wait lists. So if I had something checked out, you would have to wait. But you get an unlimited number per month. Because on Hoopla, you are limited. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On Cloud, it's unlimited. They get brand new stuff, and they'll show you on the front screen of the app when you log in. Sometimes like it'll say coming soon, and you can put yourself on hold for it before it releases on there. And then
it's audio?
Yep, they have audiobooks and ebooks on Cloud. And then you can make suggestions on that one too. And I know Crystal, our director, will buy from Cloud maybe once a month or something. And she does like to look at the suggestions that people have made. And so I'll make suggestions too, or I'll say, hey, this is a good series, and we only have book 1 and 2. And she'll buy 3 and 4 in it. On Hoopla, it's also a free app. It uses your library card and your PIN number. And it has audiobooks, ebooks, movies, TV shows.
Which I recently...
music CDs.
Yeah, Steph was just telling me about it. She's like, you can watch it on your TV.
Yeah, like I downloaded it to our TV and watched 2 movies that I had been dying to watch.
Good.
But they weren't streaming on anything else. And then I just randomly saw them on there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I downloaded Hoopla to the TV and we're able to watch. And there's a TV show that I've been wanting to watch based on my favorite book. And I've been holding off because I wanted to hear what everybody says about it. And now my aunt, who's into it too, she was like, you're going to like it. Well, I don't get that streaming service. And I'm like, I'm going to have to buy another streaming service
just to watch this.
It's on Hoopla. So, but I will say this. I was telling Sean about it yesterday. You can't watch all of them on your TV. Like it's not all like the 2 movies that I watched were available, but like the TV show that I want to watch, it says it's only available on mobile.
But you can't stream it from your mobile to your TV?
I could, yeah. But hello, ADHD brain. I have to scroll or do something with my phone as I'm trying to watch a TV show too. It becomes an issue.
So Hoopla has all of those things, but you are limited to 7 a month.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Good to know.
So you've never reached your limit yet.
No, I haven't reached the limit yet.
Yeah, but I mean that would count for 7 episodes of a TV show. You wouldn't get all 7 seasons of something. So if you weren't watching what you were doing, you could run through your 7 in a day.
Ooh, I need to know that. So I need to make sure that it's in a month that I don't have
anything else you want.
Yeah.
So
is it 1 calendar month or is it per 30 days?
Probably per 30 days. Yeah. And it'll tell you, like I get emails occasionally if I've checked something out because I don't use Hoopla that much, but it'll say, here's your 5 remaining borrows for, maybe it does go by calendar month. I don't know.
Okay. I've never reached that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then it does get pretty new and upcoming stuff occasionally. This is how old this suggestion is that I remember when Taylor Swift's album Cardigan came out, they had it on Hoopla that day. So, I mean, I know that's been 4 years ago. Yeah. So, but that was how up and coming it was. So
yeah, it is a cool app. And if people live around here in our area and use the Harrisburg District Library, you should get the app and ask the librarians how to.
Well, it's worth getting a library card. You have to have a library card to use it. So it's worth getting a library card to use Hoopla because it's free.
And here's the thing about Hoopla and Cloud, though, too, a little bit deeper into it, coming from our side. Cloud is something that 98% of the libraries in our area already have. Okay. Hoopla is an extra expense on us. So not every library is going to put forth that for them. I think we have Hoopla. Crab Orchard has Hoopla. I can't think of another library around here that has it, but 98% of libraries already have Cloud. So there's nothing stopping all of those people from using it. I mean, from El Dorado to Shawneetown to Golconda, Rosa Claire, all of those people have access to ebooks and audiobooks on Cloud Library and will show how valuable libraries are by putting themselves into that system and showing the statistics.
Yeah. So the more people that have library cards, the better our library is funded and has the ability to do more things like offer Hoopla.
Yep.
So get a library card.
Yeah. And then we still have people. It's hard to think about someone not being in a library district, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
So in Shawneetown, for example, that's the easiest one to think of.
Well, that's another thing that we deal with as being a rural community is, some people are outside of the district.
In Shawneetown, I mean, you have to live in Shawneetown to get a Shawneetown card for free.
Really?
You can't live in Old Shawneetown. You can't live in Equality.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that happens to us occasionally, too, that people will live outside of the Harrisburg District Library, which is easier for us to say, where would your kids go to school?
Yeah.
If they went to Harrisburg, you'd get a free Harrisburg card. But if you live out of any district, the fee you end up paying is not some exorbitant fee we're begging for. It's what I already pay in my taxes per year. It's what you pay. Yeah. If you go back and look on your tax forms, I think I paid $75 for the whole year to the library.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, at the same time, $75 to some people is a lot.
Yeah. And that's true too, that's just for us.
Yeah.
El Dorado will have a smaller fee.
Yeah.
Carrier Mills will have a much smaller one. And people are like, well, I want to buy a Harrisburg card so I have access to it. Guess what? Your library card is useful at every single Illinois library around here.
So as long as you have a library card, you can use it in Illinois anywhere.
Southern Illinois,
a lot of people
all the way
that.
up to like Champaign.
Yeah.
And over, to the Indiana line to the Missouri line.
Yeah.
So you could be taking a trip up to St. Louis one day and be like, I'm going to go stop in the O'Fallon Library today and just see what they're about.
Yeah.
If you check something out of O'Fallon, you can return it to us and it'll get its way home.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
You guys are like the Postal Service.
We are. So.
You go ahead with your question.
Well, so we're talking kind of tech and like Hoopla and audiobooks and and all that. I kind of wanted to ask you, I had this question pop into my head when I woke up this morning for some reason. Well, actually, I was showing Stephanie some tech thing. Anyway, no one cares about that part. Here's my question. How do you think technology is, or is it, affecting libraries in general, reading in general, and just kind of the creativity that's wrapped up in all of that? You think technology is kind of hurting libraries at all, or?
I don't know that it's hurting libraries. I think it's hurting people.
How so?
The biggest thing that pops in my head is the number of people that come in to do something on the computer, either for work or to apply for a job, and they don't know how to do it.
That's interesting.
That's really hard because they are in desperate need of a job.
Yeah.
And then I think
because the phones have made people so dependent on the phones, they don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah, well, that too. They
Wow.
but they won't learn either. And it's really hard because, they're in desperate need of this thing.
Yeah.
And I just think, well, I want them to learn the computer because
Yeah.
it's inevitably going to come
Yeah.
up in their job.
Yeah.
So there are so many things that are dependent on technology now that people of a specific age group
Yeah.
don't know how to use
Yeah.
it. And everything in the world is dependent on technology.
Yeah.
And so everything they know is becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
They're getting left behind and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
But at the same time, I know people like dealing with photos and stuff like that. When there's been times where I've delivered a gallery to somebody and they're like having trouble downloading it on the phone. Well, it doesn't always work on a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say, well, can you download it to a computer somewhere?
They
and
don't
they're
have
like,
one.
we don't have one. And it's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Again, we've come full circle in a weird way where at one point everybody had a computer and now we're going back to where nobody has
Mm-hmm.
one because it's on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There are people, like I said, that come in all the time for job applications, printing out bank statements, and then we get an overwhelmingly large number of people in that want help with completing their FOID application and their concealed carry application. And then, but right now, what is interesting in the way that technology is not working, we get paper copies of tax forms. So many people come in and get them.
Really?
They start asking us at Christmas time, hey, when are your tax forms coming in? And then people will come in and get extra tax forms printed off the internet.
Wow.
They will take the instruction booklets too.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I know we've had this conversation too about Harrisburg has a, unfortunately, pretty large homeless population, and some of the struggles that they have. I was surprised to learn some of the struggles that they have as far as like can't getting a job because they don't have a copy of their birth certificate. They don't have a copy of their social security card. They've got to go somewhere in Florida to get a copy of their birth certificate. And like, nor do they have access to contact the county clerk's office or whatever in the county that they were born in. It's stuff like that that's preventing them from getting a job. And it's like, what?
So we actually, just to give a little shout out, last summer received a grant from the Harrisburg Elks.
I saw that.
And it gave us
shout out to the Elks.
Money. It was wonderful to provide supplies for our homeless population and then also give us money to help people get their birth certificate, get their social security card, get their driver's license, because sometimes there were fees incurred when it comes to ordering that from different courthouses in different states. So Crystal helped several people get that documentation.
And they did get it. Oh, that's great.
You don't think about, oh my gosh, I don't have a copy of my birth. I've had to deal with that. That's tough. It costs money.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, I lost everything in a house fire. Well, you still have to start over.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody.
And it's not an easy process.
No.
It is not an easy process. They don't make anything easy. So I think when people start talking about, well, go get a job, to the homeless people, it's like, well, it's not that easy. It is not that easy sometimes. So,
because you have to
that's definitely a success story that we need to broadcast, that the library does stuff like that.
You have to have, at least your driver's license that has to be current. With an address. To get a birth certificate. Well, you have to have that to get your, you have to have one or the other. And I understand that. They want to know who you are. I understand that, but it's hard. They all those three groups need to come together and figure something out.
Yeah, legit.
So I'm not sure totally if I answered your.
No, you did. I mean, well,
I didn't have any expectations. I just wondered if you could talk about, because, I feel like as technology grows and becomes, I mean, everyone has a phone. It's in our pocket. We go poop with it. We eat with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I said that.
We sleep with it.
Sorry.
Yeah. You would browse on the bathtub.
Yeah.
Browse it in the bathtub.
I was just curious if that has affected, over the years that you've noticed, people not coming to the library or physically reading a book.
Do you think people read more now or read less?
I think it's becoming the new hot thing to do.
Is it really?
Which,
that's exciting.
as an original nerd, is very frustrating because, that was me in elementary school, with my stack of books, staying home. No one thought it was cool. And that is the hot thing to do now.
It's cool.
And I'm like, told you.
You were cool before it was cool.
But I still...
Mullets are back.
At least.
So the theme for this entire conversation, we have come full circle.
We really have.
We keep talking about how everything comes full circle.
And here's my next full circle for you. I still get at least once a week someone that says, no, I want to read a real book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's nice to hear. Mm-hmm. That's nice to hear.
But it's crazy to me. I am probably one of the few librarians that does not care about buying books.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm like, I can get everything at the library. I can provide that statistic for them, legitimately everything.
Yeah.
And I'll get it and I'll read it. And maybe if I want it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But I don't have an overwhelming collection of books.
Yeah. I clear out every now and then. Mm-hmm. When I get a bunch of books that are not sentimental, I'll keep a book that I've really liked just for sentimental reasons, but I'll clear out every now and then because I don't know. I don't want just a whole bunch of just books laying around that I just kind of felt wishy-washy about.
My personal book collection, and this is just me as a person, not my wife or anything. I'm starting to collect local authors.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I read them and then it's oh, that's cool. I want to support the author.
Yeah, yeah. Stuff like that.
I think we have started making a massive list of our local authors because in 2019 we held a local author fair, and I think it's come up once or twice again lately to do something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, and we try to get as many of the local authors' books on our shelves too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you introduced me to Troy Taylor.
Oh, his stuff is so.
Are we gonna get him back to the library again?
He is awesome. He is.
He's probably expensive.
Very well worth his money.
Yes.
Yes. The last time we had Troy Taylor, he did I can't remember the name of the program, but it was about the way we, funerals in history. I believe it was a Day of the Dead, something not like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, we had an overwhelming number of people. There was 80 people in our basement room.
I know. I remember being bummed that I couldn't come. There was something that Jay and I were gone and we couldn't come to it, and I was super bummed.
Yeah.
And then whenever I had my short stint on the library board, I randomly contacted him and I'm like, hey, would you ever want to come back down here again? And he responded quickly and was like, hey, I loved your library. He was like, I will absolutely come. I'm like, well, how much does that cost us though? And he was like, I don't remember exactly what it was. He was like, but they paid me something in the past. And he was like, I would be willing to do it for the same amount that they paid me in the past.
And he has so many books, and I think we own every single one of them.
Yeah.
Sherry went through the list last year and made what we had and what we needed, and we have just about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay is a Troy Taylor groupie, but we've met him. We went to a couple of his ghost tours that he offers at around Halloween in Alton and Decatur, and so we've met him in real life. So Jay is a legit Troy Taylor.
It was a super cool program, and we got it catered with food you would find at a funeral. I
love that.
It was really cool. It was really cool. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, so the book I wanted to check out at the library was rented. So later that night, I hopped on that Hoopla app and I just searched his name, and it brings up all the ebooks, all the audiobooks. So I actually listened to another one of his books already and liked it, but Yeah, I just like the Hoopla app. This is a big promo
But
for Hoopla.
again, back to that first full circle. There's a lot of. I don't know that technology is crowding us out. I think it's making it making reading accessible in a different way for people.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
You know.
Yeah.
Making it easier for you to take it along with you and read or listen in any situation.
Yeah.
Although I was that kid that took a book to every restaurant. So
I have gotten more into audiobooks lately, and I struggle with like reading. Even I do better with ebooks than with real books. And I mean, I like a real book, but I don't know. It's just the way my brain works. I don't know if I'm undiagnosed ADHD, probably dyslexic. I don't know. Like I got all the things, and it's just hard for my brain to stay focused on reading a book. But I have really been liking the audiobooks. Like I listened to Demon Copperhead. So good.
That voice.
So his voice was so perfect for that book. And I did not have, I always thought that with audiobooks I would drift in my head and I would go somewhere. I didn't.
You still retain
And
everything.
I'm still in it. And so I'm really, really into audiobooks right now. And so I'm re-listening to my favorite book right now so that I can go, which is the Mayfair, which is Witching Hour.
Okay.
So that I can go watch the Mayfair Witches show on Hoopla. Yeah. So I'm trying to listen to the book again because I've read the book actual book, read it like 3 times, but now I'm listening. This is the first time I'm listening to it. And I will say, I do not love her voice. And it's kind of a bummer.
A narrator makes a book.
Yes,
it's
I
really
don't
tough.
like her voice.
Yeah.
I don't
Is it
know.
the author or someone else?
No, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
It's somebody else. I wish it was the author. I wish Anne Rice was the one reading it. Oh my God. I would be all over it if Anne Rice was the one reading it. But yeah. And her voice, I don't know. It's just too uppity. I don't know. There's something about it that I just don't love. But anyway,
And I get mad too when they switch narrators in a series, which I understand sometimes there are some extenuating circumstances. But I'm listening to
it's a shift in your brain.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Ooh, I wish Brooke was here.
ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. And I'm in book 3, and they switched narrators from book 2 to book 3. Just a little frustrated, but I recently listened to a great narrator, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. Oh, Crystal was telling me about that
on
one.
Tom Lake. Really, really good.
Yeah, I have that one listed as a favorite to remember to come back to. There's some books that are just better listening to them, like Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. You've got to listen to that.
It's funny too because there will be people that are like, that book is just I don't like it because it's physically so big.
Yeah.
It's heavy to read.
Yeah.
You know? And another technology thing I just thought about is that most cars are not being made with CD players.
Yeah.
And we have audiobooks on CD.
Yeah.
And so now people are being forced to listen to things on their phone.
Yeah.
So they have to take along an audiobook.
Well, listen, I don't know if it's an age thing or whatever, but I just have not, like, if I have to go on like a long road trip by myself or something like that, I'm not listening to music that much anymore. I'm cranking on an audiobook.
It's usually
and I'm not even really into podcasts that much, but I'm cranking on an audiobook. Like if I know I've got to drive up to St. Louis back and forth, I'm turning on an audiobook and I'm just cranking out the hours with the audiobook on the drive.
For me, it's like music needs to be like the first 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes, maybe a break in the middle, but it's
books.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. I'm that way. Oops. But I want to tell a story about how librarians can rule the world. I think I was in 5th grade, and I guess I was reading a book that I should not have been. I should not have been reading it at the time that I was reading it, which was typical of me not following the rules. I did that regularly. But my teacher came through and she grabbed the book away from me. She grabbed the book away from me and she took it and put it on her desk, and I never got that book back. Ugh. And for whatever reason, that has stuck with me since 5th grade. But And recently it had been on my mind, and I just started like Google searching, and I couldn't remember the title of the book. I couldn't remember the author. The only thing that I remembered is that I was in 5th grade, so I knew about the time frame that I was reading it in, and I knew what the cover of the book roughly looked like. And so I was just kind of looking, just random casual Google searches with looking for this book. And one day I thought, I'm just going to run this by Emily and see what she says. And I, through text message, told her time frame, what I was looking for, and the description of, and I mean, basically all I remembered, it was like a spooky Halloween 5th grade age bracket book. And I remembered that I thought the girl was wearing a purple shirt, and there was an old woman, and she was coming out of like a hedge, like a
wall of hedge.
A wall of hedge.
Yeah.
And that's all I remembered. And I described it to her, and within 24, not even 24 hours. I don't even know that it was 12 hours. I was telling you this that evening, it was by the next morning. She started sending me pictures of books, and by like the second set of pictures that you sent me via text message, it was in there.
No way.
And I'm like, I'm still like,
I can't take
librarians can freaking rule the world.
I can't take full credit for that, but like, that's why I know the right people to go to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I made a post in a library group on Facebook, and I gave them all the details.
Yeah.
And everyone was immersed in it. Like, everyone was like, I really need to know what this book is when she finds it.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that.
That's a cool part of the story.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone was screenshotting, though, pasting their pictures of the books they thought it was, and that's what I was sending you.
Yeah.
And so when I found out which one it was, I was like, this was the winner.
I still like within 12 hours, I still could not believe that was in 12 hours. And it's so funny because now that I know who the author was, so much random stuff is coming up about that author, because there was a TikTok. I'm on TikTok way too much. It's just a thing. But there was a TikTok, and it was like the hold. I think you would probably know what it is. It's like the hold that a book that a girl read when she was 13 has over her to this day, or something like that. And then it flashes to a book, and it was
that book for you.
It was this person posted another book by the same person, and I'm like, I want to go back.
Maybe she was like a cult author or something at that time.
Now I'm like, okay.
And the thing was too that you were pretty spot on with what you remembered from the
lady
cover
had
of the book.
Purple on. The girl didn't have purple.
You had just switched the character colors.
Yeah.
But she really was coming out of it. She had a crooked nose. Yeah. She was an old witchy looking creature. Yeah.
So that's my librarians can rule the
Save
world
the
conversation. Well, thanks for chatting with us today.
Thanks for having me along, for having me over.
We'll have to come back. I feel like we could talk about so much.
Yeah. It was so easy. It was just like having obviously it's a great big conversation.
Well, we could, you and I could talk about library stuff all the time. So.
Just travel into so many different avenues.
We need to do this as a book club. And I'm not joking about an audio book club.
Yeah.
I think that would be, an audio book club. Yeah, let's make it a thing.
Yeah,
we'll start.
I'm in.
Okay.
Do it.
All right.
Sweet. Well, we will put up hello. Good grief. Are we horrible hosts or what? Before we get off this thing, where can they find you, Emily, if they're looking for you?
Yeah.
They can find me on Facebook and Instagram at yogaflowwithemily. I also have a website that I am slowly trudging along on, www.yogaflowwithemily.com.
Sweet. And we'll put that in the notes and on the screen and all the stuff.
Yeah. We'll shout you out.
Thanks.
So if you're wanting some
yoga,
Zen,
some Zen moments.
some
Check
yoga,
or if you want to come and be read to at the Harrisburg District Library,
do that weekly.
She's available for that too.
So get your library card. Go see Emily.
Yes.
Thanks
Ultimately,
for
get your library card.
Support your local library. Support reading.
Library.
Hoopla. One more time. One more time. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Mondays on Main, a production by Main Street Media Co. Our goal is to connect with both artists and enthusiasts to encourage conversations in the creative and small business community. You can join in our efforts by subscribing wherever you're listening, leaving a rating, and sharing this podcast with someone you know.
Bookish.